check of what the markets shaped up like for the day. Bear in mind, a lot of news affecting the markets. Specific sectoral stocks getting affected because of the news, because of all the news surrounding GST as well. We have Suyash now joining us in the studio. Suyash, talk to us. Obviously, a lot of chatter around the online gaming, company-related stocks. But if you can talk to us about the markets per se, and then tell us, all the news that moved all the stocks for the day.
So Krishna, let's start with the gaming stocks as they were in focus today. Gaming stocks, the 4 listed entities, gaming entities, crashed as much as 23% in intraday trade today. So now Delta Corp was fell the most. At close, it was down about 23%. Nazara Technologies was another one. It fell about 2.55%. And Zensa Technologies ended 2.19% lower. Meanwhile, On Mobile Global Zensa Technologies ended with positive gains of about 2%, and On Mobile ended with losses of about 1.13%.
Right, so so clearly the online gaming related stocks taking an absolute beating as far as the markets are concerned. I'm guessing when the moment the news came out yesterday, said the expectations were these stocks are going to get hammered.
Definitely. I mean, if you hear from a lot of industry experts, it will be very detrimental. The 28% levy of GST will be very detrimental for the industry. And we saw it in the markets today as well. 23% Delta Corp fell. So, you can...
Literally, the percentage of GST is the percentage with which some of the stocks fell down. That's what Suyash is alluding to. The only question is, will they ever find any kind of a recovery in the near term? Because the way that the GST finality has come about, it basically means that if you are into any one of these things and you say you put 100 rupees into it, out of which 30 rupees straight away goes into taxes. So good luck for you that you make at least 130 so that you don't make a loss.
Definitely, and I mean, even if you see the reaction, it is the initial reaction of the stocks, and I mean 20% fall in a single day is a lot. So we can clearly see that the gaming industry will be affected by the GST levy.
Yeah, online gaming industry is going to have it very difficult. So we'll have to wait and watch. So there's no recovery path that is seeming in the immediate term. At least we'll see how much lower these stocks can go going forward. We'll have to see on that. It's been a hard day for the online gaming stocks. But talk to us about the markets per se. Sensex, Nifty, they were on a roller coaster ride last week. But talk to us about how things have panned out. We're just over the hump. We're in the middle of the week. Tell us, how markets traded for the day.
So since Friday, Krishna, the gains have moderated on the markets. Although the markets have ended on higher in the last 2 sessions. Even today, the index was for the majority of the session, it was trading in the green. But in the last hour of trading amid selling pressure in IT stocks, the market fell because, as we know, the results of IT bellwethers, TCS and HCL are due today. Now, at close, Sensex was down 0.34% at 65,393 level. The 30-share index touched an intraday high of 65,811 and an intraday low of 65,320. Meanwhile, Nifty ended 0.28% lower at 19,384 levels. It touched an intraday high of 19,507 and an intraday low of 19,361. Now, the broader markets, on the other hand, Krishna, continued outperforming benchmark. Nifty Mid Cap 100 was up about 0.43% and the Nifty Small Cap 100 ended 0.76% higher.
Right. Some of the big losers in trade today, if I may ask you, Suyash, one is Tata Motors and the other was all the Adani Group, Adani Enterprises stocks. Talk to us about them, if whatever you're picking up on them. So as far as Adani stocks go, you've seen the fact that the Supreme Court has given it very clear to SEBI that by the 14th of August, you have to complete your investigations into the Adani Group stocks and then put out a final report. So clearly, nothing much has moved as far as the case is concerned, but there was a deferring for the plea that was filed. For the Supreme Court has deferred it. Talk to us, how Adani Group stocks performed for the day.
So Adani Group stocks also, Adani Enterprises, in fact, Krishna, was among the top losers on the Nifty today. Adani, it fell about 1.44%, and Adani Ports, which is another Nifty constituent from the conglomerate, fell about 0.78%. Now, IT stocks were some of the other major losers in today's trade. Now, the expectation is that IT sector will have another muted quarter, given that the slowdown of new orders coming in. So TCS and another IT bellwether, HCL are going to declare their results later today. So the markets are
yeah, you're
turned
seeing the
cautious.
Infosys stock right there, top Nifty losers, Suyash, were more than 1% down. So clearly the point you're making about IT earnings set to be muted, the market's already factoring in for it. Right. Basically, the markets are saying that we know the next quarter results for IT companies are going to be not all that great because the order books have become thinner. The orders coming in have become leaner because of the slowdowns and the recessionary trends in Europe and America, the biggest clients possible for all the Indian IT companies. So clearly, that is a very clear trend over there. Let's also talk about the positive trends that you were witnessing in the markets today. Some stocks are doing really well as far as the big gainers go. Any particular trends that you're picking up? Because we're talking about all the downtrends, online gaming problematic, IT problematic. Any good green shoots that you're witnessing in trade today?
So like the entire financial space was under pressure today, but Nifty PSU banks remains an outlier. It was up about 0.83%. It has been on a winning run in the June quarter itself. It has outperformed Nifty and it's up about 18% almost. So the overall banking situation improving, the asset quality of the banks improving, the NPAs coming down, they are really driving that index higher, the PSU bank index.
The PSU bank index is being driven higher. But Suyash, you're talking about a over 200-point correction in trade today. If I may use that all-important word called correction, because I don't think people use the word correction. And ever since the rally up that we've witnessed over the last month or so, there's always talk of the fact that there is a possibility of a correction. When something like a 200-point fall goes, it's not viewed as a correction, is it, Suyash? It's just the ebbs and flows of another bull run.
Definitely, Krishna. Also, we need to understand that a lot of macroeconomic, like indicators are due. Like the U.S. inflation print will come out later today. India's inflation print is due, and now there are stock-specific movements that we'll see because of the earnings season starting. So, despite that, the index has largely, consolidated this week, whereas the expectation was that we may see some profit booking after a 4% run-up last week.
Right. 4%. That's the very important point Suyash makes. 4% run-up, ladies and gentlemen, in the stock markets last week. All those holding on to your mutual funds, all those holding on to your SIPs, all the sectors that he's talking about. So keep a watch out of that as well. So 4% run-up in the last week. This is sort of markets, staying at that level. It's not, galloping further along the way, but it's sort of consolidating at those levels. And that's what the analysts are saying. There's still a bullish bias to the market. But a point I would really like to take a point that you're talking about is that a lot of macroeconomic data expected, be it in India or abroad. Talk to us about US inflation data. I mean, the US inflation data, jobless claims data, all of these impact Indian markets. And talk to us, how are Indian markets approaching the upcoming US inflation data?
So if the inflation print in May was about 4%, so if the trend will obviously be one of the things that we'll track. And they have a cutoff limit of about 2%. So if the inflation, which is expected to come down, if the trend continues to remain, we can expect another rate hike from the US Fed. So that could be a very big pressing point for the market going forward.
That's where the secret is. If inflation doesn't get controlled in the US Fed, the US Central Bank will hike rates, and that will definitely have an impact on rates here in India and the stock markets here in India. So Yash, thank you so much for giving us that 360-degree roundup of the stock markets and helping put things into perspective. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the D Street, Dalal Street update.